Good afternoon. I'm Steph Condor, Senior Vice President of Development for Related Northwest. We're here today to mark the groundbreaking of over 275 new units of affordable and permanent supportive housing for low-income families, serving individuals from 30% to 60% area median income. The need for affordable housing has continually increased as the number of affordable homes being built has not kept up with the demand. In 2018, the Housing Authority of Clackamas County initiated a master planning process to redevelop the aging Hillside Park property into a medium-density housing community. Then, in 2021, the City of Milwaukie approved the master plan, which called for a total of 500 units on the Hillside Park property. In 2022, Related Northwest was selected as HAC's development partner via competitive request for information. We're thrilled about that. Both HAC and the City of Milwaukie should be commended for their focus on increasing affordable housing in the city. Every day, Related Northwest seeks partnerships to address the housing deficit. So this collaborative effort is a true testament to what public-private entities can accomplish to ensure that all residents of this city have a safe and affordable place to live, complete with resident services so that all of our residents have the opportunity to thrive. Yay. So today we're joined by our major partners and funders. You know, as you know, it takes a tremendous effort and collaboration to bring these projects together. So I'd like to give a shout out to the Housing Authority of Clackamas County. Thank you so much. The City of Milwaukie. Thank you so much. Oregon Metro. Yay. Oregon Housing and Community Services, HUD, Umpqua Bank, Redstone Equity, and Citibank. A lot of folks involved. Thank you. Related intentionally forged partnerships with local organizations who are dedicated to making a difference in the community. And given our diverse resident populations, we're so proud to partner with HAC and 3 other resident service providers, including Impact Northwest, Unite Oregon, and Community Vision. I'd like to also welcome our elected officials today that's joining us, Mayor Lisa Batey. Yay! Former Mayor Mark Gamba. Tootie Smith, the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners. Thank you. Councilor Adam Croshbody. Did I get it? That's right. Councilor Rebecca Stavenford. Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge the partner, the Housing Authority specifically, that's here today, Devin Ellen, the Director of Housing Development. She's been instrumental in pulling this off, so thank you. And so from the City of Milwaukie, Vera Colas, our Senior Planner. Are you here today, Vera? Okay, well, she's here in spirit. She really did make this happen. And Joseph Briglio, the Community Development Director, I know he couldn't make it today, but he'll be here for the grand opening. He promised. So, our partners at Metro, Patricia Rojas, the Regional Housing Director, and Allison Wicks, our Senior Project Coordinator, clutch player on this deal. She was fantastic. And we also have Bryan Guiney here with HUD, our Oregon Field Director. Yeah. So appreciated. Yeah, there you are. We also have joining us Andrea Bell from OHCS, Executive Director. Thank you for joining us. And I would like to introduce our first speaker, Mayor Lisa Batey, to talk about, you know, her role in this. I think the first time we met, we had lunch. It was great to kind of talk about this big undertaking. Lisa was elected mayor in 2022 and understands that the City of Milwaukie needs new housing options to enhance the ability of residents to stay in this town. Just after retiring from the federal government, she announced her mayoral run. She's a true champion of the redevelopment of Hillside Park. That is, could not be more true. It has been a joy to work with Mayor Batey. She has been a true champion of this project and the work we're doing out here at Hillside Park. It's my pleasure to welcome Mayor Lisa Batey. Put that pumpkin there if you need it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Steph. That was It's a great kickoff. It's so exciting to be here today and see this coming to fruition. As she mentioned, 2018. I will say a specific date, June 27th, 2018. Over behind the tower, on the land behind the manor, was an event, similar in size and scale to this, similar tent, an event that brought the community together to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Housing Authority of Clackamas County, but also the kickoff for the planning and development of this project. Before I go into sort of how that spun out, I did want to recognize a couple more city councilors that are here from Milwaukie. So Steph recognized Councilor Batey and Councilor Savanjord. There's also our council president, Robert Massey, wandering around here somewhere. And there's also Councilor Will Anderson, our newest councilor, right here in front. So thank you. Thank you for the full council for coming out. So that process that launched in 2018 was a huge public process. As Steph referenced, it took until 2021 to get through final design and approval. But there were a lot of community meetings, I think a lot of outreach. There were meetings at the Ardenwald, there were meetings with the community who lived here, there were meetings with the Ardenwald neighborhoods around to try and get to some common goals and some common understanding about what was the right level and scale of development for this site. And so I think a lot of credit goes both to the county housing staff and the city staff at the time for shepherding those conversations through. Do remember that June 2018 date, because I'm going to come back to it at the end. So we will have, they refurbished the manor a couple of years ago, which was awesome. And this site, as noted, will have 500 units. So that is basically tripling the number of people served by this site. And that's really exciting to see happen. Today we celebrate phase 1, 275 units that will serve folks at 30 whose income is at 30 to 60% of area median income. And I'm especially want to note that over 100 of those units are for people at 30% of area median income. We know that's a population that's often hard to serve, so real kudos for being able to do that here. Super excited that it's all electric. I want the builders out there to take note. Build all electric, no more methane, please. And that it's going to have Earth Advantage certification. I thought the plans were really cool that it includes a resilience hub with some backup energy sources for times of energy outages, which we do know happens in our community. Community gardens, playgrounds, other gathering spaces. I also want to give a shout out to a gathering space that will serve this community that the city is building, which is just on Balfour Street, the next street over. There's a park under development there. You can go by on your way out today and take a look if you like. That's a park the city of Milwaukie bought the property about 15 years ago with some Metro Parks bond, local share dollars. It sat undeveloped for many years. And then in the pandemic, when ARPA money became available, we had some money to actually build that park, thanks to former Representative Karn Power and State Senator Kathleen Taylor. So we have 3 parks coming online out of those ARPA dollars this fall, and that will be a park to serve this community as well as other neighbors. There's 2 big challenges. There's probably more than 2. I'm not a housing developer, but I see 2 big challenges in a project like this: the funding piece and then the land use piece. The funding piece, Milwaukie doesn't have a huge role in. We did support various asks over the years. We did do letters of support for various asks for funding. I know there was a $4 million that came in from Senator Merkley and the congressional delegation at one point. The one thing that we did contribute to the funding is Milwaukie was one of the first cities after Portland to have a construction excise tax. So we have a construction excise tax, and we allocated the first $2 million from that construction excise tax, $1.7 million to this project, and $300,000 to a land trust home ownership project that's happening like half a mile from here. So it's really exciting to see that that funding take life in this project. I wanted to recognize, they're not here today, but I still want to call out their names. Some of the key city staff that helped shepherd this project through over the past 6 years. So 2 city managers, Emma Sagor, who is here, and her predecessor, Ann Ober. 3 community development directors, Joseph Brilio, who was mentioned before, who's on a well-deserved vacation, and his 2 predecessors, Layla Aman and Alma Flores. 2 planning managers, Laura Weigel and Denny Egner, and lots of planners, Vera Colias, who was mentioned before, Vera Colias and lots of other planners, and the planning commissioners and lots of counselors over the years who were involved in various stages of this project. So there's been a lot of community involvement in this project, and I know there are a lot of people out there who aren't necessarily here today, but who are excited to see it move forward. I want to circle back to that June 27th, 2018 date. I said that's when this planning launched, but actually that wasn't the first time. About 10 years earlier, there had been a previous effort to create more housing on this site. And that previous effort had sort of imploded because of community opposition. I think it was not, the process engaged in was not the most transparent, and it had led to a lot of community opposition, and it had not gone forward. Former Mayor Mark Gamba and I were on Planning Commission at that time, and shortly after that, he ran for City Council and got on City Council. And then a couple years later, he became the mayor in 2015. And I think a lot of credit goes to him for going back to the county after he became the mayor and saying, hey, we're ready to talk about this again. We're ready to have this conversation, and for ensuring what we saw after 2018, which was a very open and transparent process, a very inclusive process that brought everyone to the table. So I do think former Mayor Gamba gets a lot of credit for moving this project forward, so it's my pleasure to introduce him to say a few words now.
Well, it's great to see everybody out here. This is a day I was beginning to believe wasn't ever going to happen. As Lisa said, and thank you all for being here. Thank you, Clackamas County Commission, for continuing to carry this ball. As Lisa said, this was practically the first meeting I took with officially as a mayor, was to go meet with Rich Swift, who used to be the Health, Housing, and Human Services Director, to say, you guys have 16 acres and you're housing 200 families. Are you kidding? And I could have knocked him over with a feather, because they had just been through that fight for many years with Milwaukie, and it had not gone well. Lisa took most of my talking points, so I'll just thank you. Saves me a lot of time. But I just want to illustrate, think about that. That was 2013, and we're starting construction today. This is part of the issue we have with affordable housing. We desperately need affordable housing. We desperately need workforce housing. And it is so hard, and it takes so long, and it takes so much effort from so many people to make that happen. We've got to come up with new solutions. We currently have 2,000 working families every month being evicted in the state of Oregon for inability to pay. 2,000. People with jobs. We have to start going faster. We have to make these processes more easy. The front end work that Milwaukie did, working with the community, working with the folks that lived here and the neighbors, design charrettes, with environmental charrettes. I mean, I can't remember all of them. There were like 9. We kept having community meeting after community meeting. to get people comfortable with this idea. And in the end, it was pretty popular. There was a little grumbling, but really not much. And that is unfortunately what it takes to do this work, is a lot of community work up front. And it's something we need to be thinking about more across the state for a lot of issues, not just housing. Mental health care facilities, drug addiction treatment facilities, all those kinds of things. There has to be upfront work with the community, with the neighborhood, to help them understand the why and how important and valuable this is to our community. I'm really excited that this is happening. I can't wait to see it. It's pretty impressive in a city of 10,000 housing units that we are adding 500 new housing units of affordable housing. Think about that. That's a big deal. On a per capita basis, find me another city that's moved that fast. So, super proud to be here, super proud that this is happening, and thank you all for, I see a lot of faces that were involved in this, and you won't all get named today, I'm certain of it. But thank you from me for all your work on this and for your willingness to lean in, because it's so very important. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I really resonate with your words. It is very hard. And it's very inspiring when you get to this point. We've got a lot more to do and go, and I look forward to having the next grand opening. So today I'd like to introduce Tootie Smith. Oh, let's put these on. They're critical. Was elected chair of Clackamas County Board Commissioners in 2020. Prior to becoming chair, she served as commissioner from 2013 to 2016 and represented Oregon's 18th district in the Oregon House of Representatives from 2001 to 2005. She's a fourth-generation Clackamas County resident. That's very impressive, and has a strong belief that by coming together, we can get real things done. We truly appreciate Tootie's support. It truly takes passionate leaders to help us see our projects to fruition. Please help me welcome Tootie Smith.
So I'm not tall like Representative Gamba, just saying. Maybe I wish I was. Well, thank everyone for coming today. It's wonderful to finally see this a reality. Before I continue, I'd like to introduce my colleagues on the Board of County Commissioners, starting with Commissioner Paul Savas, Commissioner Ben West, Commissioner Martha Schrader. Additionally, this would not be possible if not for the Department of Health, Housing, and Human Services at Clackamas County Director Rod Cook in the back, and our Housing Director Adam Brown. Thank you very much. All great people whom I love working with every day. And Commissioner Mark Scholl was en route. I don't see him here, but he is also part of this. Hillside Park has been an important part of our community since the 1940s. Buildings are aging, resulting in high repair costs and homes that lack modern amenities. Because providing continued housing for this community and our residents is so important, we knew we needed to replace them. Hillside Park is well located with good access to vital services such as transit, healthcare, grocery stores, and the Leading Library. And this location can accommodate far more than the 100 homes that are here today. It was back in 2014, during my first term on the Board of County Commissioners, to expand the number of affordable homes here. For every 1 unit demolished, we wanted to have 4 units in its place. In fact, it's looking like the production is going to be 5 times greater than the original number. Thank you. As stated before, we are breaking ground on 275 apartments today, and the final phase of the project, we will have over 500 new homes. This means that we will be able to offer affordable housing to more Clackamas County families. I want to take a moment to acknowledge that this redevelopment project meant that some families needed to move during this construction. I am happy to say our dedicated staff at the Housing Authority, in the back, worked diligently and closely with the affected families. All our residents were moved into new homes, and we were able to support moving expenses, security deposits, and other fees. Hillside Park residents will also be offered first choice to move back into the new community after construction is completed. The new Hillside Park will have play areas, resident gardens, on-site services, and property management, and landscape plaza, community rooms, bike storage, laundry facilities on every floor. We must continue to set bold and audacious goals, like the ones for Hillside Park to address the region's housing and homeless crisis. I'm proud that we have been able to take advantage of the opportunities from the Metro Affordable Housing Bond, multiple state and federal grants, and public and private partnership with Related Northwest to make this dream possible, and many Related Northwest folks are here today. Clackamas County directed, drumroll please, almost $42 million to this project. From the Metro Housing Bond, $7 million in federal home grants, and 140 assistance vouchers to this project. Yes, we have skin in this game. We will also provide ongoing supportive services and funding to help residents thrive. We also want to thank Senators Wyden and Merkley, who prioritized $4 million in congressional directed spending for this project. Their federal investment ensured we could leverage our local dollars in a way that maximized how many affordable units will be on site. Finally, I'd like to recognize our Housing Authority staff. Did that already, but I'll do it again. Who spent many long hours making this a reality. Thank you for our partners, Related Northwest, Walsh Construction, and to Mayor Batey and the City of Milwaukie for championing affordable housing in your community. Thank you. And thank you all of the other funders, service providers, and everyone here who is working on this by celebrating today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Okay, I'll leave it there. The next person I'd like to introduce is Bryan Guiney. HUD ensures that public and private sectors work together to advance their mission to address homelessness and housing affordability throughout the region. And they provided us with 140 project-based vouchers, which is critical subsidies for making rent attainable for residents. Bryan Guiney is the field office director with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. For the past 4 years, Bryan has served as HUD's liaison to mayors, city managers, elected representatives, state and local officials, members of Congress, private and nonprofit developers, stakeholders, and customers. Bryan leads a team who manages public housing portfolios across Oregon. Bryan should be called Clutch Player of the Year on Building C. For those of us in this closing, he's been exceedingly helpful and so kind, and I just want to thank you so much for everything you do to promote housing. Please help me welcome Bryan.
All right. Hey, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Bryan Guiney, your Oregon Field Office Director for U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Want to thank Mayor Batey, Chair Smith, County Related Northwest, of course, for inviting us to come speak at today's groundbreaking. I would also like to introduce Dan Esterling from HUD is with us. He is our Director for Public Housing in Oregon. His team directly interacts with all of our public housing authorities across the state to get these critical resources in the ground. So at HUD, we believe that quality, affordable housing is a human right, that homelessness should be rare, brief, and non-reoccurring, that the private market by itself, unassisted, has failed to deliver a sufficient number of homes, and that only through partnerships, specifically public-private partnerships like this development here, is how we're going to build our way out of the housing crisis. I'm only here today sharing the stage with such esteemed colleagues because of things like the GI Bill and Veterans Home Loan, federal programs that work to lift folks, get folks into the middle class, and I'm proof these programs work, and so that's why I'm pretty honored and humbled that my agency HUD was able to contribute project-based vouchers, home funds, and other resources to make this project pencil. Big shout out to Walsh Construction. Any multifamily affordable housing unit, private home, shelter, transitional housing, anything that we interact with has been built by somebody in the trades or must be maintained and kept by somebody in the trades. And Walsh Construction is literally building our way out of the housing crisis. Also very happy to see our essential partners Metro, Oregon Housing Community Services, Impact Northwest, Unite Oregon, Community Vision, and Quantum Residential. Take any one of those partners out of the stack and projects like this just do not happen. Last month, many of us that were here were just down the road in Oregon City, gathering to celebrate the opening of Las Flores, 171 new apartment homes in Oregon City. And in August of this year, Clackamas County received the prestigious 2024 Achievement Award from the National Association of Counties for the county's Coordinated Housing Access Program. This is a big deal. This was the only national award that came into the state of Oregon from this organization. Coordinated Housing Access provides a single door that refers people in need to all the county's housing resources and served over 12,000, maybe 16,000 folks just in the last year alone. So finally, where we are today, Hillside Park, was originally constructed, as mentioned, in 1942 as wartime housing during Oregon's second of 3 housing crises in the last 100 years. And it's wholly appropriate that we're here today breaking ground on 275 new affordable units being added to our community in this current housing crisis. And in this time of crisis, that the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners has very publicly committed to the goal to build 1,500 new affordable homes by 2025. And with Hillside Park today, you're well on your way to exceeding that goal. So our federal commitment to Oregon and Clackamas County remains strong. We still have a long way to go, but it's through partnerships today that we're going to make this happen. So thanks for allowing me to speak today. So, thanks.
Thank you, Bryan. Okay. So next, I'd like to introduce Christine Lewis. She's currently serving her second term as Metro Councilor for District 2, which includes Gladstone, Johnson City, Lake Oswego, Milwaukie, Happy Valley, Oregon City, River Grove, Westland, a portion of Southwest Portland, unincorporated parts of Clackamas, Multnomah counties. That's a lot. It's a lot. Her responsibilities and committee assignments span from housing and transportation to parks and nature, solid waste, and regional cultural venues. She's a huge proponent of affordable housing in her district, and I just want to give a warm welcome to Christine Lewis.
Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here today to kick off the development of Metro's largest investment here in Clackamas County through our housing bond. Construction will start with 275 new affordable homes, and what a difference this will make for Milwaukie. We've already heard about the story of the journey to get here, but the journey of what's next for this community and this region, that's a big deal. Thank you to Clackamas County. Thank you to the city of Milwaukie. Thank you to Related Northwest. Investment and partnership are the only way we get this done, and this is a community uplifting project that's required some really complex partnerships, so thank you. We all know why we are here. We're experiencing housing crisis upon housing crisis experienced by almost every person in this state and many across this nation. Luckily, we live in a region where people are willing to take a stand Voters have said yes. They've said yes in 2018. They said yes to housing again in 2020. When our housing bond passed 6 years ago, we demonstrated as a region that when vulnerable neighbors do better, we all do better, and we know it. The housing crisis knows no boundaries, and that's why this bond is bringing affordable housing to communities in every nook and cranny in every corner of this region, from Fairview all the way west to that's Eastwood Village, Fairview to Forest Grove, to cities and jurisdictions that do not have ample local resources, and jurisdictions that without our program would not be part of the regional plan of more affordable housing in every community. It's been incredible to see progress in my district within Clackamas County. Clackamas County is surpassing all construction goals established at the outset of this bond, and that's worth clapping for. Clackamas County's killing it. As I look around, I envision a future where we can continue to work together to house our neighbors. Let's ensure this bond and its projects are the beginning. There's so much more to do. A recent analysis from Metro demonstrated the need to build 150,000 homes over the next 20 years, and that includes homes at all price points, but it definitely includes homes that are affordable to low-income and working-class Oregonians. That's why Hillsdale is essential. The buildings that will stand here will house people earning modest incomes, people who work at my favorite cafe, people who cook at my neighborhood eatery, people who stock groceries and deliver packages. These are the familiar faces in our neighborhoods that get priced out without projects like this. Priced out of our neighborhoods, priced out of Milwaukie. Hillsdale Park and developments like it are key to making our region a region that works and making our region one where everybody who works and contributes here can afford a safe and stable place to call home. This community will also provide deeply affordable units to people who are living on fixed incomes, to seniors, to people with disabilities, to people exiting homelessness. When we offer services paired with deeply affordable housing, we are implementing the most effective solution to homelessness. Affordable housing is a key ingredient. Housing is a basic human need, and for so many, it's a need that is not being met. That's why I'm so passionate and committed to find ways that we can continue this work. Thank you for celebrating today. Let's go to the coffee cart. Let's toast. Let's take our picture with the shovel. But then let's keep working until everyone in our region has a safe and affordable place to call home. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. I'm with you. Coffee cart next. Let's do it. The next individual I'd like to introduce comes from Oregon Housing and Community Services. I'm going to go off script. OHCS has done a lot for affordable housing, and their cup runneth over. There is so much to do. There's so much pressure. There's so much at stake. They oversee finance and tax credits, which is not typical in most states. So it's big shoes to fill there. And Andrea's done such a fantastic job. She oversees the strategic direction, vision, and growth of the state's housing finance agency. She currently serves as the co-chair of the National Council of the State Housing Agency Rural and Tribal Committee, and was one of 7 people nationally to be honored with Affordable Housing Magazine's Young Leaders Award. Belle's belief in the American promise drives her commitment to advancing housing progress and building an inclusive economy that benefits everyone, and she has been key in helping us deliver affordable housing throughout the state. Andrea? Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. How are folks doing? Good. Well, first off, let me just say I am so thankful, so grateful to be in your presence today. Anytime that we can be in community together, celebrating progress is such a reminder of our shared values. So I'm so grateful for your presence and for your work here today. Let me just acknowledge very quickly related, and specifically Steph. And this is true, so don't try to rebuke it. But any single time that I talk to Steph, it's always, thank you for this, and here's the next thing that we need. And that is factually true, and of course we believe that's also how it should be. First off, let me just acknowledge the mayor, the chair, to Metro for your just continued leadership, also for Representative. I know you are going hard right now in so many ways to advance housing progress, and so I'm so appreciative. Also for all of the county commissioners. Let me just say, I believe that working in local government, particularly right now, is one of the most rewarding and challenging jobs I would imagine out there. And so the fact that you show up every day willing to put the sweat equity in and put the work in, even on the hard days, which are inevitable to make progress, does not go unnoticed. And so I'm deeply appreciative and gratitude for you all for that. It was mentioned earlier, but I think it bears repeating, all of the Clackamas County staff. There are so many things that I could say, but I will just say, in so many ways, Clackamas County is hitting above its weight class in so many ways. And the state plays some role in that, but certainly it is the folks in counties every day making the work happen that often feels like it may go unseen. It isn't, and it is so deeply appreciated. I think for anybody that works in housing and works in homelessness and is working to make progress, knows that these deals don't come together easily by any stretch of the imagination. And so I also think it is worth just giving a shout out and a gratitude to all of the folks, all of the underwriters, all of the folks that are putting the vision together on the development side, on the construction side. It is one thing to have financing, which is incredibly important. It's another thing to execute it. So for all of the folks in the back and the side, all of the folks that maybe aren't here today, so much thanks and appreciation for just your love and care that goes into these projects and making them possible. Interestingly enough, I was driving here today and I lost a bet with my little girl, and I stopped at a gas station because I promised, as part of the bet that I lost, that I would give her the largest bag of Skittles that I could find. And I didn't. I found the smallest ones that I could find. But that was my part of the bargain. And anyway, I had to go inside the gas station, and as I was coming in, the attendant there was working and helping another customer, and I couldn't help but to overhear the conversation. And the conversation was about housing. And they were having this really vigorous discourse, and the person was saying, we need more housing. They were talking about different intersections where things were being built. And he said, don't even try it. That one's not affordable. I kept, they were having this really vigorous conversation. But the conversation ended with, who is leading and making the decisions about housing in our state? And I said, well, I could interject now, or I could just let the conversation play out. And as amusing as it is, I also think it takes us back to some simple things, and I had been thinking about it since the very moment, which is, what is our relationship and responsibility to one another? All of us are here today not because we agree on every facet of life. I don't think that is expected. But we are here today because we agree on some clear and fundamental principles, that our shared goal, our shared commitment to our beloved community and to the state that we call home is to advance housing progress that includes and works for everybody. And the good thing about it is we don't have to agree on every life facet to make good progress. Could you imagine if we did for that regard? But it also made me think about how all of us here today, and for the folks that aren't here as well, part of what we are hoping to make possible is the improbable hopes and making them into undeniable realities. And that is what this is here today. The fact that this is progress isn't abstract, it is real. There are real neighbors, real families, real community members that will be forever served. And that's not just here in this moment. There is a ripple and a generational impact that we are part of what we are making possible. Now, a big part of housing, of course, is infrastructure and the ability to have a key and lock the door and some of the things that it's easy to take for granted. But I often think that part of what we are also part of making possible is housing is connected to the meaning of life. The idea that if we can take care and preserve and protect some of your most fundamental needs, to which housing is one of them, maybe we free you up to tend to the other parts of life that are equally as important as well. And as we scatter today and leave and go back to our respective parts of our work and our everyday life, my hope for us is that we can continue to summons the energy and the compassion and the relentlessness for progress that is here today and take that into our everyday lives to continue being relentless for progress that is going to make everyday lives better for people in a way that they can see and they can feel. And the last thing that I'll just say is, you know, as somebody that grew up in a very working class family, the conversation that I heard in the gas station was the everyday conversation in my community, the everyday conversation from my grandparents. And it is also such an important reminder that progress is not guaranteed. It is not automatic. It is not given to us. It is because of people like you and your colleagues, people that are not here today, that consciously choose to show up every single day, even in the inevitable hard days, even in the toughest of tough days. We choose to work towards something bigger than ourselves and progress for the beloved community and the beloved state that we call home. And so I am appreciative to each and one of you, not only for just what we are part of making possible today, but thank you for holding the vision. Thank you for holding the vision. Thank you for sticking it out every single day, even when you want to pull your hair out and question, why did I take this job again? Or is there a job that's slightly easier? You all choose to show up every day, even when it's hard, because you see something bigger and better for our community and for our state. And I would say our state needs that. I would even reckon to say our world needs that. And so I am so appreciative of you. Thank you for continuing to stick it out every single day. And the commitment that you should hold us to every day at the state is to continue to be relentless with you. You should expect nothing less from me every single day. I keep myself caffeinated for a reason every single day in that. So with all that to say, thank you for holding the vision. Thank you for making this possible. Congratulations to everybody who made this progress possible today.
Very inspiring words. I'm going to stick it out. I've decided. Talk me into it. Okay. Thank you to all of our speakers. Developments like this require a lot of collaboration and coordination. Look at the magnitude of this undertaking. I come out to this site and I'm like, wow, what did we get ourselves into? No, I'm excited. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but this is really something. And these projects require layers of financing from private lenders and public funds. I'd like to acknowledge the critical capital from our financial partners, Metro Affordable Bond, Clackamas County Home and Home ARP, OHCS Lift, Federal Infrastructure Grant, Metro TOD Grant, Umpqua and Citibank Construction and Permanent Lenders, Redstone, our tax credit investor, and HUD project-based vouchers. You know, I'd also like to recognize some of our key partners, the ones that are slogging it out there with us. Ankrum Moisen, our architect, Isaac. Fantastic work, thank you. Dow Architects, working on a resiliency center. Thank you so much. Walsh Construction, our general contractor. I always say, oh, it's the easy part now. Build it. Quantum Residential, and then, you know, it even gets easier. Manage it. Thank you. And GLI Consultants doing our owner's representative and construction management. Thank you. Sticking there with us. We All Rise worked on this early on to do community engagement, and we're really appreciative of that. Lots of community engagement. And Related Northwest, our amazing team, not going to cry, my little, who works tirelessly every day on this development, making sure that every detail is being handled. I couldn't be more proud of this accomplishment. They're really, truly talented and dedicated developers. Ryan Hood, yeah. Alec Lawrence, Nate Bryan, and Caitlin Fuji. Thank you guys so much. This development is a neighborhood investment that will benefit all residents of this city while addressing the city's affordable housing crisis. And I just really want to thank everyone who works effortlessly on a daily basis bringing this development to this stage of construction. I look forward to being back here in 2026 for the grand opening. And I'd like to invite the speakers to join me for a shovel photo over there. Let's get in the dirt. Okay? Thank you guys.